They're not sportscasters, this isn't a morning show, and they're not tour guides. They don't take you to a country, they cross rivers, ride camels, summit mountains, sleep in jungles, and take you 100 kilometers east of nowhere to embed you in the toughest endurance sport on the planet. This is the Adventure Racing World Series. Erik's been around so long, he raced Eco Challenge. Viv stepped out of film school right into the wilds. She keeps this show from going off the rails. Go with them. They don't know where they're going. Welcome to the Adventure Center, the nightly broadcast of the Adventure Racing World Series.
We're on the west coast of Ireland and it's really getting nasty and ugly over here. There are 90-kilometer-hour winds.
This is what day 4 looks like at the ITERA Adventure Race, and it's cold. It's really cold and wet. It's my favorite conditions.
And there's about, how many days left of racing?
I'd say maybe a day for the winners, and the course stays open for another 2 days.
Most of the teams were looking forward to the coast-steering section on the west coast of Ireland. It tested their fortitude. They had to make it along the rocks, out to checkpoints, swimming to them, jumping off of cliffs, swimming to the next checkpoint, and making it along until they could come up and out of the cliffs. The rest of the teams, unfortunately, didn't get out on the section as it was canceled by the race for safety issues. The weather turned bad, 90-kilometer winds, and it became nighttime. It was canceled by the race for safety issues.
Okay, we're starting to get to the business end of the race, and we'll just start with the course changes that have happened so far due to weather and such forces and that have been confronted on the course. The big mountain bike ride is now finishing at Cloghane, and this is just along the Dingle Peninsula. From there, the teams are doing a short but big climb up to Mount Brandon. This is just up over 900 metres from sea level, so a short but steep little tough climb, and then they come straight back down to where they left their bikes, and they're doing a short 10k mountain bike across the Dingle Peninsula and then riding around the bay to Glen Bay, where they are transitioning onto the final trek through the Ring of Kerry Mountains.
Here comes team FMR, the French team, coming in. They're in first place now, coming into the transition from bike to trekking. We'll go in and take a look at what they're up to. These guys have been going to get sheets of wind from this storm. It's right into their face. And we want to find out what it's been like.
So we're here at transition with the French team that have come in at first place. It's been a hell of a morning, massive changes because of the weather. It's been pretty bad weather on top of that, so these guys are absolutely saturated. So right now they're taking off their bike shoes, they're coming into transition where, from what I understand, they'll probably be taking a sleep. So let's check in with them and find out how the race has been for them over the past couple of hours. Salut! Salut! Ça va? Et comment ça va les dernières 10 heures?
Bah, c'était très mouillé, on est très venté, c'était super dur. Je pense que c'est des trucs, c'était un peu dangereux en haut de la montagne. Là, on a il y avait les falaises et des rafales à 140, du coup c'était aussi nerveusement fatigant. Et là, on est tout trempé, donc à chaque fois qu'on met nos vêtements, on est tout trempé, donc psychologiquement, avec le froid, etc., c'est dur, quoi.
Ouais. Alors, qu'est-ce que tu vas faire maintenant?
Là, on va changer pour se mettre en trail, on va dormir un peu avant de partir, parce qu'on est en montagne, je sais pas si on pourra dormir. On va manger et on va repartir.
Ouais, super. Alors, qu'est-ce que tu en penses en général? Tu vas continuer au fort pour gagner, c'est ça le plan?
On va essayer de se gérer, de ne pas péter au dernier moment, d'essayer que tout le monde aille bien dans l'équipe. Un coup c'est moi, un coup c'est une autre personne. Donc non, on n'est pas à fond sur 5 jours, c'est un peu difficile quand même.
Oui, j'imagine.
C'est surtout de la gestion et voilà. Et alors, la gestion du sommeil aussi.
Alors, est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un dans ton équipe qui avait des problèmes ou physiquement ou
Ouais, moi je suis cassée de partout. Julien il nous a fait une petite hypothermie hier nuit. Et non, c'est tout. Les deux autres, c'est des Superman.
Super.
Ouais.
Bon, bonne chance. Okay. So it looks like these guys have, in her words, have struggled psychologically due to the rain and the weather that's come in over the mountain. It's made for a very tough trek. All the changes and trying to catch up with the way everything has gone has made it tough for these guys, but they've pushed on. They say they're racing their own race, although I think they're pretty happy that they're in first. Right now, again, in her words, they're very, very tired, they're very smashed, so they will take this opportunity now to recover and take a quick sleep before they head back out.
So the French team, first place team, has just come into transition, and we wanted to walk you through what a transition is in adventure racing, why they're here, and what they're doing. You can take a look here that they're just come in, and the first thing they want to do, especially in weather like this, is they want to get out of the wet clothes. They want to get to a dry area, get in dry clothes, because it's impossible to be able to sleep in wet clothes. They're already shivering when they come in.
There's also a massive support crew for the race here. Often a lot of them are volunteers that help move all of this luggage. They're like epic baggage handlers here at the race.
Because these teams, they don't carry all this stuff with them, and they actually seldom see this. So they are waiting to get to the dry clothes, to the food, etc. Because when they go out on these legs, and sometimes multiple legs, they got to carry enough food and dry clothing with them, so it's usually used up.
Yeah. Now, just like in F1 Formula 1 racing, the time in transitions can be absolutely key for some of these top teams. So the faster you move, the more organized you are, the more you continue to work as a team, people making food, people getting other people's clothes ready, you can save sometimes hours in transition areas.
Yeah, some teams will take 20, 30 minutes, some will take hours. And I mean, this is a French team, so they're going to communicate in French, but the English-speaking teams, for us anyways, we can hear what they're saying. And what they typically will say is, you know, can you do this? Can you get that? Can you prep that? Can you do this? And they're all working, like Viv said, like a clock, and doing what teams should do, help each other get through this efficiently.
I mean, you see a massive difference between the mid to backpack teams will come in and they kind of, it's almost like a relief or oh, we've just finished that epic leg, and you don't blame them, they're often very tough legs, but the top teams are the ones that stay in that mentality of this is a race, and they almost treat the transitions as another leg. It is worth noting that despite the massive help from the volunteers moving bags, and there's often a tea and coffee station here at transitions, that this race is still completely unassisted. So what they put in these bags is all they've got. If they get here and they realize that they're missing something, they cannot receive it.
Yeah, they literally drop the bags, and that's it.
Yeah, they're just baggage handlers. So you've got to be thinking like 3 or 4 days ahead, because when you pack this bag...
At the beginning of the race.
Yeah, you packed this 3 days ago, so who knows what would you've got to anticipate if there was rain or if you've had an injury.
Yeah, everything that's going to support you in this race is in that bag, so they certainly look forward to it. And now the French team is taking these bags apart, getting what they need out of them, getting some sleep, and they're going to head up into the mountains again. So the things that they carry in these bags is really interesting. Food, clothing, and even some of these things you'll often see on people in marathons to keep them warm. This is what they use for sleeping bags out there. They don't carry sleeping bags. They carry these Mylar sheets. They come in here to do their mapping, get their maps out, they have to map the next section, what they're going through, replenish headlamps with batteries, and get their medical kits put together if they've used their medical, and all kinds of interesting ways to dry their clothes, because they've literally been going through a very frigid monsoon, and they're going to go down for about 30 minutes, just 30 minutes of a sleep.
There seems to be a bit of indecision in the French team about how long they're going to sleep for. This is largely influenced by the fact that they haven't slept, and trying to answer a basic question is very complicated. So it's gone from, I think someone wants to sleep for an hour and a half, then someone else walks by and says, no, we're going to sleep for 40 minutes, and someone else says, no, we're going to sleep for 30 minutes. It looks like they're going to go down for a small sleep, likely 30 minutes, because the second team is right on their tails. Before this, though, I don't think they've been asleep for at least a day and a half. So 30 minutes it was. These guys are now up and ready to take on the mountain section, which we're going to join them on now.
FMR have once again timed the start of the trek very, very well. They're getting into the mountains with about 6 hours of daylight up their sleeve. Probably a bit of a gap on some of the chasing teams. So this should be a good battle as they go off into the last night.
The first place French team came in, FMR. and they decided to take 30 minutes to sleep, which is an interesting strategy because SWECO is quick on their tail. SWECO came in and they're not going to sleep. They ate, they changed, and they're ready to go up on the mountain.
How much sleep did you guys have?
2 hours this night and 2 hours in the morning when we were in Galway. We haven't decided if we're going to sleep anymore. I don't think so. We're going to eat first here.
They were so motivated by the two teams behind them. The other two French teams battling for third and fourth.
We don't want them to see us.
Why?
No. The mental game, I don't know if it means something, but it gives us energy to leave before they arrive. That's how it works, really. Hopefully we don't see them in the mountain too early, at least.
All right, well, enjoy the weather.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
So they're headed up into the mountains, and they've already, many of them said they're going through some serious weather. They're walking right back up into it. I heard on the radio that half the town has lost its power. There's craft warnings, and it's just getting worse and worse. Huge storm swirling over Western Ireland right now. And it's been changing the course, as you've seen. The course has been impacted. They've had to shut down sections for safety. They're trying to do the best they can to keep this race together because the weather does not want to cooperate whatsoever. But these guys are resilient.
So do them a favor and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can watch them struggle and triumph through this. Head to orworldseries.com for online tracking and find some really wild photographs on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Thanks for watching.